What's up, everybody? I'm comedian Michael Halcomb, and back in the house with me today, comedian Scott Bedgood. He's based out of Chattanooga, Tennessee. Did I say that? Is it Chattanooga or Chattanooga?
I learned when I moved here, it's Chattanooga. You hit the T
Okay.
real soft, Chattanooga. But you
All
got
right.
to pronounce every syllable or people get mad,
There you go.
just so
Chattanooga.
you know.
So, yeah, stick around. You're not going to want to miss this.
It's all messed up, yeah. Everything's messed up. We're going from this mess up to the next setup. Everything seems so messed up, but it's just our setup.
All right, everybody, what's up? I'm Michael Halcomb, and this is the Messed Up to Setups podcast. I'm stoked to have Scott Bedgood back today, and we're gonna look at a joke that he's done, and maybe get the origin story of this, and maybe kind of break it down, and yeah, maybe watch some game film here. So, dude, it's good to have you back. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, man. It's a whole different day. That's why I'm wearing something different than the last one. This is a 2-day thing.
Yes. Oh man. All right, here
Or
we go. I'm gonna play this clip, bro, and we'll
I won't pull the curtain back too much or anything, but
yeah. Your wife might dive on the floor if we pull the curtain back too much. Yeah, they'll watch
gotcha.
episode 1. You had to be there. So you had to be there, Joe.
That's good.
All right, so I don't know what this is. Here we go. What is this showing? All right. There we go. Can you see that? Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
Here
I
we go.
can.
Let me make sure we can hear it. I think we're good to go. Here we go.
We can cut this.
We say weird things to each other sometimes, right? When I turned 33 last year, my friend texted me saying, "Hey man, happy birthday. It's your Jesus year." I was like, Jesus died at 33. I was like, he was God. He could pick the age he wanted to die. He was like, 33, that's the peak. Let's go there. It was a terrible happy birthday. But I'm 34 now, and guess what, guys? He was right. Because I think Jesus went to his annual physical, and I think the doctor was like, "Hey, Jesus, I think it's time to start turning that wine back into water." Hydration's important. And with those days, I think you're walking on water days behind you. And Jesus was like, "Dang, at least I can still break bread with the homies." And he was like, "You are glued to the top right now." So, maybe just one last supper with the boys. People don't really like the last supper, but I love it.
Nice. So tell us the origin story of this joke.
Yeah. So, like all things, it does come from a real place, or I think like most good jokes, it had to have an origin in a real thing. And that is true. When I turned 33, my friend texted me, it was like, "Hey, it's your Jesus year." And I remember being like, that is a weird thing. And I remember talking to my wife and being like, it's your Jesus year because he died at 33. That's kind of an odd thing to tell someone when they turn 33. Like, hey, Jesus was like 33 is it. So I had like the premise of that, of just kind of like, that's weird. What is that? Why do I feel like it's weird? What's the sort of relatable bit to that? And how do I, you know, so I was thinking about that for a while, and I don't actually do this that often, but I was fairly new in comedy. I'm 35 now. So that was 2 years ago. I just turned 35 in October. So it was 2 years ago. But I went to like a kind of a joke writing meetup with a couple friends in comedy, and they were neither one of them are believers or Christians at all, and so they didn't really have any background in what I was getting at. And so I just kind of like threw this idea. We were just kind of throwing ideas out, and I was like, I have this idea. I think it's really odd, but I don't know what to go on from there.
Oh.
And they didn't really have like much background of like, oh, what about this with Jesus? But one of them just goes like, didn't he like turn water into wine or something? Maybe there's something with that.
Mm.
And that was it. And like that was all I remember them giving me. And it just like that started the process of going, okay, water into wine, like, he liked to party, right? Like they like when he turned that was his first miracle. He
Right.
turns water into wine because he wants people to have a good time, right? But now this is like 2, 3 years later, and I'm like, all right, he's winding down. We're 30,
Right.
I'm 33. I got these aches and pains. So then just the idea of like, okay, well, now you got to turn the wine back into water, like the hydration piece, and then, so then I'm just like thinking about the other miracles, the walking on water with the knees, like, all right, whatever. But then the gluten intolerant thing personally comes from I became lactose intolerant as I got older,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so all of that. So that's like kind of the where
Nice.
the setup comes from. But what I think is like interesting about the joke is just the figuring out how to tell it in the right way,
Yeah.
figuring out how to set it up in the right way so people don't think I'm being offensive, but
Right.
also don't check out because they're not Christians and they don't want to hear from
Right.
me.
Right.
And that is like I think a big challenge with clean comedians, Christian comedians is like I don't want non-Christians to think I'm just a church comedian and they're not
Right.
going to listen, but I also don't want to offend a church crowd or a Christian crowd. And so how do you toe that line?
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of that with this joke, and so that's why I thought it was like an interesting joke to bring in. And one, like, it curious, kind of just to hear your thoughts on that, and like just even just the idea of like towing that line. Like, have you had to deal with that? Is that something you think about, or is that something you have experience with? And then I can kind of tell sort of the lifespan of where that's gone with that joke. But I just, I'm curious
Yeah.
about that from you.
I think it's a good bit. And you got several nice lines there, several nice tags. And I think your facial expressions and gestures really complement the telling of the jokes well. And I don't feel like you lost the crowd at all. It sounded like they were with you based on what I was hearing. But so I liked the bit. All right, so I'm a Bible scholar by trade, by profession. So um this isn't critical, but this actually could work in your favor. I don't believe Jesus was 33 when he died. So I'm hearing that joke as a Bible scholar going, he wasn't 33, but I get the joke. Like that's what everybody says and thinks, right? So let me explain where I'm going here. So Jesus was born in 6 BCE or 6 BC, right? Um, and the BC side of the calendar counts down 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. There is no year zero. It just goes from 1 BCE to 1 CE or AD, however you do that. Now, Jesus dies. If he dies in 33 CE, that means he was 39,
Yeah.
right? So I wonder if you could actually use it. Now, if he died in 30, that means it was 36. So he couldn't have died at 33 unless he died in 27, which is possible. But why
This
I'm
feels like a little bit too much information.
well, I'm wondering if you
I'm just kidding.
I'm wondering though if
So
you
I might
could.
have lost them by now if I'm going into BCE and
So I'm wondering if there's a creative way to somewhere, maybe near the end of the joke, or I don't know, somehow work that in, like about that. That's the challenge, right? It's the puzzle. Like, how could convey this information in a condensed, concise way that's still funny, but like, use the actual historical data. I don't know if you can, but that might be another layer that you could add to it, you know? So sitting here right now, I don't know exactly what that would look like, but I think there's something to that, dude. Like, I
yeah.
think you could get another line or two, maybe three out of like dealing with that historical aspect of it.
Yeah, I mean, if you book me at a conference of Bible scholars, I'll make sure to add some more
Right.
historical.
I mean, even if
I don't know that a comedy club at 9:45 PM is interested in that, but I'm
maybe
interested in it.
maybe not, but maybe if you ever did like a church show or a church event, like
Yeah.
it could be a really good opportunity if you had that in your back pocket to just be like, to somehow bring that information out in joke form. I don't know
Yeah.
if you can, but it's just an idea.
It's worth a shot.
And the idea of Jesus being 39, like he's even older now. And maybe that's all you got to say. Like, some scholars actually say Jesus was 39 when he died. I talked to a Bible scholar. That's what he said. Like, and then do like, 39 is really old. Here's the problems 39-year-olds face.
I'll never be 39, so I don't need to worry about that.
Yes.
I'm
So
gonna be 35 forever.
yeah,
Um,
well, there's that, and then I was thinking of a couple tags that you might be able to add on. So your friend is like, this is your Jesus year. And like one just smart aleck remark that you sarcastic remark you'd have back, and you're like, yeah, well, this is your last year as my friend, or something like that. Or you can be like, yeah, this is your Judas year, like implying that he's going to commit suicide, right? Like,
or just betray me in general. Yeah.
um,
No, that's actually kind of funny.
yeah, or
Yeah.
yeah, like the betrayal in
Judas year.
general. Like you could stick that on anybody. This is your, Peter year, whatever. But
I'm waiting for my Methuselah year. You know, make sure and text me when I get there.
yeah. So
Nine
I just thought like,
75.
well, that could be another good tag on there. This
Yeah,
is this is your Judas year. Also, your last year with my friend. Something like that. But
kiss you on the cheek.
this might be my Jesus year, but this is a year you're going to move out of your parents' basement, or whatever. Some roast back on your friend, like benign retaliation, right? Um,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That's funny. Yeah, no, I mean, but I think what's interesting about the joke itself is just like, to me, it's not offensive, right, at all, right? Like
I
there's
don't think
nothing
it's
offensive.
offensive at all.
It's just
No,
like totally benign. It's silly, whatever. But people do tighten up when you start talking about religion.
right.
And what I've found, and what I found is really in the setup, uh, is to make sure that I let them know that I'm on their side. And so I don't include it in that clip because it would be a weird
Mhm.
place to start. But what I do, and it works very well in like Chattanooga and the South, um, is so I have a joke before that, where basically I'm like saying like I don't know anything about drugs, right? Like I'm very naive with drugs, and they have a funny story. And then I go like, the reason I don't know anything about drugs, and it's always like I kind of time it where I'm taking a sip, and I'll be like, it's because I'm a Christian. And then I'll like pause, like take a sip, and like let people cheer, because like in the South, there's
Right.
usually at least a few people who will be like, woo. And sometimes
Yeah.
it gets a very big pop, and I'll like wave and I'll bow, and like I really
That's
like
good.
lean
Yeah.
into like I've earned this like
Right.
applause by
Right.
just
Yeah.
being like I'm a Christian. So that like sets it up of like I'm on your side. I'm not telling this as someone who's anti-Christian.
Right.
But because I'm also overly sarcastically like praising myself, I'm letting people know who aren't Christian, like, I'm also like, I don't actually think
Right.
I'm special.
Right.
And this joke is just like, hey, we do weird stuff, Christians. Like, this is kind of an insider, like, weird thing that Christians do say. Because having told the joke, I've had people come up and be like, my friend told me that, and it was weird. You're right. So it's like, I'm not the only person this has happened to. So it's kind of like, hey, we have these weird insider phrases, but you who are not a Christian, you can enjoy this too. Like this is a funny, like I'm letting you in on this
Right.
insider thing, but we're not making fun of anyone. But the ending of the joke where I say like I could still break bread with the homies, and then the doctor's like, ooh, you're gluten intolerant, and then I say, so maybe have one final last
Right.
supper
Right.
with the boys. That sometimes does get groans and or people like backing away from laughing. They're like, oh no,
Hmm.
I didn't like that part. And so the evolution of that joke is that I'm like, this is a really good joke. There's, like you said, there's lots of like good tags. There's lots of laughs in it. It flows
Yeah.
really well. It's really good, I thought. But then I would get to that point, and then like sometimes there would be a little bit of a dud ending. But I'm like, but that's funny. Like I'm very
Yep.
confident in my writing, and I'm very like I think that is a good ending, but I'm not getting the big laugh at the end.
Yeah.
And so if you see in that clip, I that is from the show I did with Brian Bates here at the Comedy Catch, where I was doing a guest spot. The crowd was super hot. It was a very big crowd, and mostly like Christian clean comedy fans, that kind of thing. So they were super into the whole joke. They were super into when I said I'm a Christian, like they were all that. And then they started to pull back when I had that. And so that's why I learned to lean in and like
Yeah.
pause, like you
That's
said, the
great.
facial expression,
Yeah.
kind of like like a sly smile, like staring out, like, come on, like that was good.
Right.
And then saying, and that was the first time I had done this, and now I kind of do it every time this happens, where I go like, people don't really like the end of that joke. And then that gets another pop because people are like, yeah,
Yeah.
you know what? I didn't actually like that. But then I say like, but I love it. So I'm going to keep doing it because
Yeah.
I'm the one on stage, so that is like part of that evolution of,
Mm.
when you learn it, when you write a joke that you're like, I know this is good, but it's not working exactly like I want.
Yeah.
And so the first evolution was adding the introduction of, "Hey, I'm a Christian.
Right.
I'm telling you this because I'm not making fun, but
Yeah.
I'm not saying I'm special." So
Yeah.
that setup helped get into the joke where people didn't start backing away because they were afraid I was going to say something offensive. And then also having that ending where it's like, "Hey, look, if that offended you, I don't actually care. I love it."
Yeah.
But then also
That's
what
clever.
thank you. But also, one of the things that I'm really big on, and this is something I work with my clients a lot on from a speaker perspective, from a speaking perspective, if you're writing speeches for even a corporate event, anything like that, what I say is the transitions are what matter, right? Like if you can have good, smooth transitions from one section to another section to another section, memorizing your speech becomes very easy, right?
Mm.
Having a flow makes everything make sense. So then, if you just get through your introduction and your introduction flows into section one and section two, section three to the conclusion, everything is part of a story. You're just up there telling a story on your expertise, right? If you're a speaker and you're speaking, you're giving something on your expertise. And so that the transitions have to make sense. And I do the same thing with all of my jokes. And when I did my first headlining set earlier this year, I'd never done 45 minutes before. I
Right.
had a bunch of jokes that could equal 45 minutes, what I didn't want to do was go up there and just like have these like random transitions. I wanted it to feel like a
Right.
story. But all these
Right.
jokes don't have to do with each other, right? And so what I worked on really hard was making it where there was a transition so the audience felt like he was up there telling one long story. And it was like, no, he wasn't. He told a joke about boneless wings and he told a joke about, football and he told a joke about Jesus. How do those have to do with anything? But it's because the transition. And so again, with this joke of like ending on a semi-offensive note, the transition I always do is I go, hey, I'm not trying to be offensive. I don't think that was offensive. I never want to be offensive. And then I
Mm.
do a joke about, hey, I always try to learn the jokes, the words we can't say anymore. Like, did you guys know we can't say homeless anymore? And then I
Right.
do a joke about how you're not allowed to say homeless. And so it's like, that is to me, just again, the evolution of, all right, well, it ends on this note where people a
Mm.
little bit pull back. I could work really hard and try to find a way that people don't pull back, but I actually kind of like it. I kind of like playing with
Right.
that because then I can go into a joke where I'm like, I'm not trying to be offensive, guys. Guys, I'm not. And then, of course, the end of that joke is pretty offensive in a clean comedy way. And then people are, so it's like I like that ebb and flow and being able to work with that. But I really like that it makes an easy transition to another joke.
Right.
Um, and so, yeah, I mean, that again, the reason I want to emphasize that is like that is something that I really teach a lot with my clients is like the transitions
Mm.
matter so much when it comes to any kind of speech.
You could do I like the idea that you like them pulling back a little bit. Um, if you wanted to jump into, like, just a second of crowd work there, you could do what I was talking about earlier, like, you see somebody who doesn't really laugh or who's wincing or, groaning or pulling back, or just they don't even have to be doing it, it could just be anybody. Just pick on somebody and be like, "Oh, you didn't think that was funny, sir? Well, this is your Judas year." You know?
I actually do like that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it would kill. I think you'd nail it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That'd be a great tag. So you could save the Judas one, like the little bit of crowd work for right at the end, and then maybe at the beginning after your friend tells you this is your Jesus year. I like the idea of getting your friend back by saying, "Well, this is the year you're not my friend anymore," or something like that. Like, I love
Yeah.
some retaliation on your buddy. Like,
Yeah. I mean, it is hard because obviously he meant that in a good way.
yeah,
And
right,
I'm
right.
I'm the idiot that took it in an offensive way.
Yes,
So it's like
exactly.
I'm the problem here. Like he
Yeah,
meant literally just like
yes.
It's
Yeah.
cool. You're 33, you know? But I took it in the way that comedians take things, which is like, "Why'd you say that? What does that mean? Let me
Right,
think about this more
exactly.
than anyone should ever think about it,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah,
let me overdo this."
yeah, yeah.
Um, and I told that joke, you know, it's funny, you saw on my website, I posted my whole, headlining set on my site. 1, because I was like, "I'm pretty proud of this," and 2, I was like, people
Hmm.
may not believe me that I actually did it, you know, that I did this. So I was like, proof, go watch it, you know, like, and yeah, anybody listening, please go watch it. I'm really proud
Yeah,
of it.
well, go watch it.
Um, but he was there. My friend was there. That was the first time he'd seen me
Oh,
do this
nice.
joke. And I'd been doing it for like 2 years, but this was the first time. And actually on the clip, in the set, I didn't mess it up, but it doesn't have a good flow because I said it and then I look and I see him and I was like, actually, this is the guy that did this. And I like kind of double over laughing because I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, I didn't even think about that until right now that I'm looking at the guy who said this, and he's probably like, I said that to you.
That's funny.
So like in the set, I don't, you know, who cares? I could do it, you know, a million times, but I didn't get a good clip of that one at all because the flow was totally messed up. But it was so funny because I was just like, oh yeah, this is the guy that I'm making this joke about. And I mean, have you ever had like something like that where like you've been doing something for a while and then you realize like, oh, this was about a friend or my wife or whatever who I like have not told I'm doing this joke? Like, do you run jokes by people
Yeah.
that you're gonna do them
I
about?
try to, but I did early on, and no, I've been preaching for a long time, so
Mm,
I made it a policy from the start that if I'm gonna tell a story about one of my family members, I ask them for permission first.
yeah.
And then eventually it just got like, I'm just gonna tell it. Like and it's kind of the same with comedy. Like I started asking for permission, now I just tell it. But I have tons of jokes about my wife. I have a long, like 6-minute bit about our 20th anniversary. And I told it dozens of times before she ever heard it live. Right. And then when she heard it live, she goes, I don't think it's funny. That's not how it happened.
Oh, yeah. It's
Right?
always, "That's not what happened." It's like, that does not matter.
It's like,
This
that's
is not a
not what
documentary.
yeah, dude. Everybody else in the room thought it was hilarious. It doesn't matter if that's how it happened, right?
Well, I mean, I
It's
think a lot about with comedy, I think that I don't know if this is actually this is what it's probably one of those quotes that is not actually was not actually said by this person or not said in this way, but like, Picasso supposedly, whatever, said, like, "Art is a lie that reveals the truth." And I
mhm,
think about that with comedy. It's like I'm lying, right? Like the stories I'm telling
right.
are not true, right? That's not what happened. But the truth is, like specifically in the scenario, the situation we talked about in the previous episode, go check that one out, guys.
Yep.
With the secondhand embarrassment thing, where like, you know, my wife, you know, she dives on the ground
Yep.
because I was naked in front of a window and she was fully clothed. Right, that is what happened. But the way I tell it, right, there's a lot of extra details in
Right.
the story. She's like hands over head. She's, you know, there's all kinds of other things that didn't
Yep.
happen.
Yep.
But that's because that's what it felt like happened in that moment, right?
Exact
And so it's like that is stand up. And so it does become hard
Yep.
when you're telling a story that did happen or that involves someone
Yeah.
in your life and then they hear it and they go, I mean, I didn't say that. And you're like, first of all, I didn't use your name, so don't worry about
Right.
it, you know. Or you know, it's like, yeah, but that didn't happen, but that is what it felt like, or that is
Right.
what people will
Right.
internalize as, I've seen that before, I've felt that before, that makes sense to me.
Yep.
And I think that's the biggest difference between good comedians, good writers, good speakers, and just kind of everyone else. Good storytellers, really. It's great
Right.
storytellers. It's the organization of information. It's removing the details that take away from the main plot and the main point, and it's adding details that
That's right.
add to that.
Right.
And that is the difference between someone
100%.
who you hear the same story from a good storyteller and the same story from a bad storyteller, and it's a completely different scenario,
Right.
because you know often the bad storyteller is going, yeah, we took a right on markets, no,
Right.
the left
Exactly.
on Market Street, and then like, you know, it was raining, and I didn't bring my raincoat, and you're like, well, that, oh, is that
Yeah.
going to come, is that going to come into play that they didn't bring the
Right.
raincoat? And then
Right.
20 minutes later you're like, why did you tell me about the raincoat? Yeah.
Exactly.
But a good storyteller, a comedian, they tell you that because at the end it's going to come into play. You didn't have your ring,
Right.
whatever. So that is just something that I think is so interesting, and it does make it hard when you, as a comedian, are telling a joke and a story about something that happened. They go, "That's not what happened," and you go, "It does
Yes.
not matter."
I distinguish our blog about this very frequently. This actual thing that we're talking about. Like I distinguish between like historical truth and emotional truth. So as a comedian, it's not the historical facts or the historical truth I'm after. It's the emotional truth. So the thing with your wife like diving down like this, or like whatever happened with me and my wife in Italy and that the fight we got into. It's not the historical truth I'm after. It's the emotional truth that everybody else can relate to.
Yeah. I mean, 100%. Yeah. And as a journalist, right, I'm trained to find the facts, to tell the truth, right? Like that's my training. So I've spent a long time doing that kind of thing, fact checking
Mm,
everything, and still being able to turn it into an appealing story,
right.
right? But
Great skill
it's a
set.
lot easier if you don't have to do that.
So,
It's a lot easier if you could just kind of insert a few facts that make it way funnier.
I love it.
But I think that that is good training because
Yeah,
you
for
still
sure.
have to be able to tell an interesting story when you're also like double checking every fact, triple checking every fact, making sure that,
Right.
the thing that you wanted to say, you actually can't say because you can't verify that that is true.
Right.
Um, and there's levels to, depending on what kind of journalism you're doing, how much you have to actually verify every fact. And I've done plenty of stories for magazines that were um, like travel stories with me and my buddies. Like we would go do these guys trips or whatever. And I've written stories for like Cowboys and Indians magazine and some major publications like that. And when I'm telling those stories, like it's a day in the life kind of story. And I will, smash together a couple of my friends into one character, or, assign
Right.
a quote to one of them that they're like, I didn't say that. And I'm like, yeah, but we all thought that. One of us had to say it. You
Right.
got to say it. Congrats. Your name's in a national magazine. Like they would always text me when they would get, the story would come out and be like, that's not, I don't remember exactly that. I'm like, yeah, but do you have a really good story about a great adventure that we took that you can, keep in
Right.
your house forever? That's,
Right.
and then, all these, you're like, yeah, yeah. All right. Okay. That makes sense. So, there's levels to the journalism. And I'm not throwing Cowboys and Indians magazine under the bus. It was more just the type of story I was telling. Right? Yeah, great magazine. But anyway.
Well, that's similar. I mean, like, as a Bible scholar, right? Wrote a PhD dissertation. It's like research after research, days, years of research, and like you said, double checking, triple checking, making sure this is right before it goes out in print in a dissertation, in a book, and a journal article. Having those ducks in a row, but then being able to tell stories, do your research and tell stories, like layer the funny in. It's just a good time, dude. It's really fun. It's life giving.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it is, it is very, very fun to invent kind of a world, but like
yeah,
as long as it's, you're not at least to me, disparaging someone's character, or,
right.
completely taking it in a place where people feel bad, right? Like that's not really what I want to do. Like I like making people a little bit uncomfortable, but then always bringing it back to like we're having
Create
fun.
the
Like
tension and release. Yeah,
yeah, yeah, like that's a fun way of doing it. But I mean, even like even we could probably go on this for a while, but like even the biblically, it's like there's four gospels. It's four
yeah,
different people telling the story. Supposedly, this I mean, not supposedly, ostensibly the same story, but there's different details. There's different stories.
right,
Like even if you look at like John, it's a
right.
completely different story than the other three.
Yeah,
But he, from the beginning, is like, I'm not here to tell you a fact by fact, blow by blow biography of this guy. That's basically like that's been done.
yeah,
It's like a spiritual it's like, I'm gonna tell you why this guy mattered. I mean, it's like pick and choose stories to showcase what the reasoning of this
yeah.
was.
So
So,
you'll believe. That's what he says. So you
right,
might believe.
exactly. And
It's
so it's
great.
like he's very from the beginning, like, that's not what I'm doing. I'm telling you this. This is like more of an argument. This is more of a like
Yeah,
convincing thing. And so I think that that is like a really great example of different storytellers tell things in different ways because they have different
Right.
goals.
Yeah, different agendas for sure. Let's switch gears. Let's see if we can make up some jokes. Let's do like a lightning round here. So let me I love doing this with comedians. It's really fun. So if you guys go to michaelhalcom.live, if you're watching, again, daily blog, podcast shows up there. But under the social tab, um you'll find like a bunch of social media stuff. And then at the very bottom, the joke writers lab, you'll see 3 tabs. One is for my online joke writing course, which anybody can get. Second's for a private Facebook group you can join if you want. And then the third one is joke writing exercises. Click that one, the joke writing exercises, and a new page will open. And I've written these joke writing exercises. They're pretty cool. You can click any one of these 15 buttons to do joke writing exercises. So we're just going to do some of these jokes on the spot. So
I've never
for
done something like
example,
this, so I'm so nervous.
don't worry about it, dude. Even if you don't come up with anything, it doesn't matter.
We can cut it if I don't come up with anything.
We're just kicking the ball around. So here you go. These are actual news headlines in the news today from a newspaper, from a TV news. They're actual news headlines. So like you click generate prompt. We have a clock down here because comedians work on a clock. And this one, this headline says Olympics decision on gender eligibility to come in early 2026. Olympics decision on gender eligibility to come in early 2026, just as they transition out of 2025. Emphasis on transition. I don't
My
know.
my decision to not wade into this territory is coming in late 2025.
Yeah, right. There
I've
you
made
go.
that decision.
Yeah. So that's the whole idea. Just take a headline and try to riff on it, right? Good stuff. US Federal Reserve cuts interest rates in final decision of the year. Also, first decision of the year. Um, yeah. US Federal Reserve cuts interest rates in final decision of the year.
My interest rate in this exercise is being cut by these boring headlines.
Very good. I like it. Last minute offer may avert strike by resident doctors. Last minute offer may avert strike by resident doctors. So I'm assuming here the hospital. A last minute offer may avert strike by resident doctors.
Is the offer
Ooh.
they will get a third house by the time they're 40?
Right. Um,
No,
yeah, that's good. Last minute offer may avert strike by resident doctors. I wanted to say like when I read this like averting a strike, I'm thinking of Israel like striking another territory, Gaza or whatever. Last minute offer may avert strike by resident doctors. I can't think of a good punch, but something like that. That's where my mind's going. See if we can do another one here. Iceland to join boycott of Eurovision, in protest at Israel's involvement. Uh, to piggyback on yours, like I'm boycotting this headline, which is such a mouthful.
Well, I
Good
mean,
grief.
Iceland is for them to boycott Eurovision. That's like most of their identity is Eurovision. So,
Okay.
but I'm treading lightly on what to.
I don't want to say the wrong thing. Iceland to protest Israel's involvement. Um, uh, Iceland's not the one that's really icy, right? It's more green, and Greenland is the one that's icy.
I mean, it's pretty icy. I've been
Is it
there.
pretty
It's
icy?
very cold. Yeah, they give me
Um,
the cold shoulder to Eurovision.
Iceland to boycott. Iceland to join boycott of Eurovision. Um, Snowblowers and shovels and salt included. I don't know.
Coincidentally, I think Boycott is the name of the newest all male group that's gonna win
There you
Eurovision
go.
this year. I don't know.
Let's try another
That
one
one
here.
lost steam as I was
Hey, it's all
telling it. I
right.
was like,
It's all right. Here's one. This is one of
Boycott.
my favorites. This is the random joke setup generator. And then what I did, dude, was I took thousands of jokes that have been told by comedians, and I cut off the punchlines. I just left the setup. So our job is to see if we can come up with a new punchline based on their setup. So
All right.
today is Ann and Mitt Romney's 43rd wedding anniversary. Oh my goodness. Mitt Romney, he was the Mormon candidate, right?
Yeah.
I think he was. Today is Ann and Mitt Romney's 43rd wedding anniversary, which has left everybody saying, "Who's Mitt Romney?" Um I I don't know if a lot of people know who he is. Let's do another one. The creators of Siri are working on a new digital assistant that'll make up for Siri's shortcomings called Viv or Vive. Good grief.
I'm actually just genuinely confused what that means.
So Siri has shortcomings and Viv is supposed to make up for her the creators of Siri are working on a new digital assistant that'll make up for Siri's shortcomings named Viv. In related news, my wife will be using Viv to make up for my shortcomings. I don't know. That's a mouthful too. The creators of Siri. Try another one. Golly, some of these are really long. All right, let's do this one. A sports medicine college has come out with its annual list of fittest cities in America.
It is one city long.
uh, none of the cities, of which none of the cities have read newspapers or something like that. A sports medicine college has come out with its annual list of fittest cities in America. To which England replied, "There's no fit cities in America."
I'm way more interested in fattest cities in America.
There you go. Yes, that's good. Has come out with its annual list of fittest cities in America. Yeah, that's good. I like that one. Due to the shutdown, the Statue of Liberty is closed.
I'm
Due to the shutdown, this is so stupid. Due to the shutdown, the Statue of Liberty is closed. So freedom not for all? I don't know. Due to the shutdown, the Statue of Liberty is closed. Yeah, I'm hitting a little
don't
bit of
bring
a
me your
wall.
tired. Don't bring me your
Oh, there you go. That's good. I like that.
until the
Yeah,
shutdown is over.
very good. I like that. I think a good trick on these is just to do the in related news, like, and then just see what comes. It's very the Statue of Liberty's closed, like in related news. What? But yeah. So fun times, dude. So anyway, some good joke writing exercises here. There's a lot you can do. We won't get into tomorrow. I like doing the roasting one too, but that makes
Let's
a lot
do a
of people.
roasting one.
You want to do it, dude? It
I
makes
don't
a
know.
lot
What
of
is it
people
going to do?
uncomfortable to do
I
that.
just want to know what it says. I've never done a roast.
So
I'm afraid
these
to
are
do
just
it.
random pictures, bro, of people,
Oh, no.
and
Yeah. Yeah, I'm good. He looks like a nice gentleman. Probably has a good family and a great job. Probably makes far more money than me doing anything.
Bro, that's
Definitely wasn't going to say software engineering. Why would you even think that, Michael? I was going to say
yeah.
the CEO.
Well, yes, I wasn't gonna say she was in rehab, but still, yeah, dude. Fun times. There you go. This dude, it's
I
been
think
good
she
hanging
was a
out.
software engineer and also very successful and wealthy.
Uh,
I do
oh,
opposite roasts. I just talk re- really
you,
positively
you
about people.
just compliment people.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I would like
dude,
that. I don't like the idea of roasts. I don't
yeah,
like the idea of roasts when they don't involve famous people because they're
mm,
always just people making fun of the physical features of like another
right.
person on stage, and that's not really that funny after about two. Um,
Mm,
you know what I mean? I'm
yeah,
like, I don't
yeah,
care about the insults you're throwing at this person I don't know.
right,
Um,
right,
but a roast of like Justin Bieber, you're like, all right, I know everything about him, so
right,
I get that joke about whatever Tom Brady or whatever. But
right,
um,
right, right. Yeah, makes sense.
that's my hot take.
Kind of punching down, I guess. Yeah, and yeah,
I
if
don't
you
really
don't,
care about punching down. I just don't think it's
huh?
that funny.
It's just boring.
You can punch
Yeah,
down and it's funny, but I just am like, you run out like, oh, that guy's bald, that guy's fat, that guy's old. All right, cool. Like
yeah. It's kind of like Mr. Obvious kind of thing.
yeah, right, yeah. Like it's like I don't know about his personal life, so a joke you make about his personal life, I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah. We could. It'd be fun to talk about the punching down. Maybe we'll do that another time. But
yeah, have
um,
me on Scott defends punching down. That would be like you're talking about your most listened episode. It would be.
yes, dude. I think there's some silliness to the idea of punching down, but just whatever,
I
dude.
think everybody who comments on something and says comedy should never punch down, it should always punch up,
Yeah,
doesn't like comedy.
right, right. Yeah, dude. I agree with you actually.
Just say you don't like comedy and then don't comment on comedians' clips.
Yeah,
Go do whatever you do to entertain yourself. But
right,
I don't tell a musician how to play a chord because I
right,
have like I don't know.
right.
I like this music, I don't like the music, but I don't go like play the guitar wrong. But for some reason with comedy, there's just
Yeah.
this like group of people who were like, here's what
Uh,
comedy should be. And you're like, get on stage and do it. Or
yeah.
don't tell me. The best advice I ever got, I did the comedy competition right when I started comedy, and I thought I did pretty well. I didn't move on, whatever. People did, they were great.
Right.
And the guy who like headlined the event was a pretty successful guy. National kind of touring guy, very funny. And I was talking to him later, and one of the judges had told me, "Hey, man, like you were good, but you need to up the energy." He's like, "Drink like 3 shots of espresso." He goes, "Explore the stage, get your Dane Cook on." That was
Mm.
what the judge told me, and I was like, "I don't like Dane Cook. I don't want to
Yeah.
be like Dane Cook." And so I asked the headliner. I said, "Hey, he told me this. What do you think?" And he goes, "First of all, you were really good. You just started." And he goes, "Never take advice from somebody who's not a comedian." It's
Mm.
like they don't know what they're talking about,
Yeah.
you know.
Yep.
And
One of
I've
my
now upped that to never take advice from anyone ever. And no, I'm just kidding.
one of my personal philosophies is not to accept criticism from somebody I wouldn't accept advice from, right? So,
Oh yeah,
yeah, that kind of that's great advice, dude. Yeah, I think that's good. But, dude, it's been fun hanging out with you. You have a newsletter. Tell us a little bit about that. We'll plug that, and then we'll go here.
yeah. So it's called Speaker Tips and Funny Clips because, like I talked about in the first episode, I am a speaking coach. I help people write speeches, become better speakers. I do corporate trainings. To help people just improve their overall communication skills in their teams. And so the newsletter is I send out one speaking tip, just a short blurb that will hopefully help you as you prepare for your speeches. I do need to make it more obvious on my website, but I will share the link as well. And then I also send a couple stand-up clips just from famous stand-ups, from friends who I think are really good. And I do include my own clips in there sometimes as well. But the idea is that it's just a weekly newsletter that you get in your inbox. You're like, cool, I got some good value. And I got 2 really funny things that I laughed at. And now I can move on with my day. So yeah, that's what's called Speaker Tips and Funny Clips. I will share the link and you'll be able to put that in the
Right
episode
on.
description and things like that. And I
Right
also
on.
subscribe to your newsletter, which is great. So
Yeah, great, man. Thank you for that. Well, I appreciate you carving out some time, dude. This has been fun. Learned a lot from you and picked up some ideas and tips and had some good laughs, dude. So thanks for coming on, man.
yeah, thank you. This
Yeah.
is awesome.
Thanks everybody for watching. Go subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, all the things. We're gonna stop there and say we hope that helps.